Be all you can be. Tonight, live from rambunctious Reno, Rockline brings you a very special evening of music and your phone calls for yes. To speak with the band, call the toll-free Rockline at 1-800-344-ROCK. That's 1-800-344-7625. And now, America's answer to nuclear power, Mr. Bob Coburn.
Yeah, somebody fire me up, all right? I want to let you know, you can kind of peek behind the scenes at Rockline tonight. You can see the control room and me in the studio at rocklineradio.com on the internet, rocklineradio.com. Yes is in Reno, Nevada. There is not a webcam there. I'd like to introduce the guys in the band, though. Yes, about to embark on a tour. It's been called the Masterworks Tour, certainly appropriate, as Yes has proved to be a collection of master musicians with an incredible body of work. And it's always a pleasure for Rockline to welcome from Yes, John Anderson. How are you tonight?
Hey, I'm doing fine, Bob. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. You're always doing well, John. It's always a pleasure to talk with you. Steve Howell, welcome back to Rockline.
Hi there. Hi there. How you doing?
We're doing great. And Igor Koroshev, welcome to Rockline.
Hello.
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 Not doing quite as fine as Steve and John tonight, apparently. But close to it, I guess. Chris.
Cost $40.
Uh-oh. Chris Squire, welcome to Rockline. How are you?
Hi, how you doing, Bob? I'd just like to do one thing before we carry on.
And what's that?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Allah. Happy birthday to you.
And a big Rockline welcome to the birthday boy, Alan White. All right. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
We'll pass the away from later.
Now, it's been almost a year since you were last with us on Rockline, but I got to see you in concert at the Sun Theater in Anaheim, and the Masterworks Tour begins in, what, less than a week? Is that correct?
No, a week from today, yeah, Tuesday.
A week from today.
Tuesday,
so
no, 6 days. 6 days.
6 days. Okay, well, then that's less than a week by one day,
For
actually.
he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. That's how say all of us.
And many, many more.
You know, Alan's wife asked that we specifically didn't get drunk for this performance tonight, but I think we've let her down. So it is Alan's birthday after all.
I can't tell you how thrilled I am to hear that. There was a concert that I saw on DirecTV that I taped. I hope that's okay with you. Do you have any plans on anything for DVD?
We're releasing that show, kind of fixed properly with the right edits, the right mix, and the right people on the screen at the right time. So it's kind of been fixed, really, and it's more saleable, I hope, more worth seeing, because it's actually got more rightness about it.
I'll go out.
Available on the Napster.
Yeah, there you go. I'll go out and buy the DVD. I'll go out and buy the DVD.
Yeah, I'm not in it much myself. I don't know. I'm not the right person at the right time.
Okay. A slightly more serious question. Why has Yes endured so long? Is it the music, the spirituality, the great fans, or a combination of all the above?
It's the vitamins.
It's the vitamins.
The vitamins, sorry.
Vitamins. That's right.
What, 45 is the over 40, what is it?
Phyllocene.
Hey, when you go to the Centrum Silver, you know you've hit a milestone, you know?
There you go.
God, Central Silver Plus, I'm on.
Silver
Very
Plus, unbelievable. Now, you guys are playing what's being called a fan-driven set, and people can log on at yesworld.com and make suggestions. What are some of the gems or epics that you've chosen to include on this tour?
Well, Gates of Delirium was one of the songs that we hadn't played for 23 years, so we decided to start thinking about it, and we've actually started rehearsing it and having a great time playing it. So that's going to be one of the songs we'll play.
It's the only one we're telling you, though.
What was that?
Sorry?
I said maybe that's the only one we're going to tell you, just to keep you
that's the only one you're going to... So, in other words, go to the show and see what people have asked that you're going to play.
Yeah, our web people did this, internet voting.
Just
thing.
about 200,000 people voted for Days of Delirium, Ritual, and stuff from the sort of central times of the 70s, longer pieces of music. So we're very excited to do that because we enjoy playing that kind of music.
Yeah, that's why it's the Masterworks Tour.
Now, we're going to start with a song that was the first #1 hit single by the band, Yes, from 90125. It's Owner of a Lonely Heart to begin things on Rockline. Art, yes, for you on Rockline. Yes, joining us tonight from the studios of KOZZ and KDOT in Reno, Nevada. If you'd like to speak with the band, call the toll-free Rockline at 1-800-344-ROCK, 1-800-344-7625.
Are you ready for college? Are you sure? Almost a third of all college freshmen drop out in the...
Get Toyota! You're listening to Rockline on Philadelphia's classic hit station, 1029 MGK. And welcome back to Rockline. I'm Bob Coburn. It's an evening with Yes, and you can see the studio crew and myself at rocklineradio.com. Yes is in Reno, Nevada. And John's going to start things off tonight. He's in Kingston, Tennessee. Welcome to Rockline, John.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay.
We're good.
I got a question. How do you think the Internet's affecting the current state of the music industry? You have things like Napster and MP3.com, and, of course, you have your YesWorld.com. John, I'd like you to answer that one.
What it does, it makes you excited enough to start thinking about new ways to make music and new ways to make product for people. It's like they say, necessity is the mother of invention. So the Napster's happening. You can't get away from that. There's going to be free music, but that means you got to develop a new kind of music, a new kind of production for music, visual music, and things like that.
Well, maybe there's room for free music and music
combination.
that's worth buying. Yeah.
That could be. Does it bother you though that you can log on and download the entire 90125 album for example? No.
Not me, but I think everybody has a sort of similar, different opinion.
Well, my son does it because
Similar.
he uses it for... He's being a DJ right now. But it works for those kind of things, but if you want the real product, I think you have to go buy it, you know, and I think there's something in the system that's about to turn all this around and make it beneficial for the musicians, because otherwise you'll get no music.
What would that be, Alan?
Maybe if another industry decided to do it free as well, like, so, you know, a big block of flats or apartments, everybody can live there for free.
It's the same thing.
Free music, free food from the shop. You know, I don't know how that ecology works. I don't know how people, you know, are going to be able to expect free things when it takes, you know, money to create these.
But I think the big boys in the music industry are having lots of conferences right now to kind of work this out.
But it's a lot of fun.
Just log on to nomusic.com and they charge you $7.99, and there you go.
Well, there'll probably be some kind of download technique in the future where you have to have some code. You know,
well, there is.
So you have to pay for the codes in order to be able to download.
Or it'll blow up.
So, you know, that's logically what's going to happen. And then someone will they'll invent a little box that'll break that, and then somebody else, you know. So it's going to go on forever, really. It's like cable TV pirating.
No, it's already getting quite clever, because look at Audio already got protective and copyright protection on their music download, and that's the way the future's going to be.
There you go. It's not
going to be free.
We're going to play a song right now that everybody can listen to from The Ladder, If Only You Knew, by Yes on Rockline. If Only You Knew. That's Yes from The Ladder on Rockline and Bob Coburn. We have John and Steve and Igor and Chris and Alan from the band. And we have Ken on the line from the New York City area. Hi, Ken.
There, hello. I was at the Yes Fest in '91 in Philadelphia, and I met a fan who gave me a tape with a Coca-Cola commercial on it with John and Chris singing on it, and I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that commercial, including when it was recorded. And also, I was wondering if you were planning an update to the Yes Years box set to include rarities like maybe the Coke commercial and outtakes like We Can Fly From Here from Drama, and also like the B-side to Run With the Fox called Return of the Fox. That'd be really cool to have on CD.
Okay. Well, I don't think John and I ever did a Coca-Cola ad, did we?
I don't remember.
Unless you did it behind my back.
I did a Pepsi.
Did you?
No.
Oh, okay.
I like 7-Up, actually.
Don't you remember you guys doing that?
No.
I heard you did
We did it?
No, I heard John Anderson did that, yeah.
No,
John
I didn't.
did it.
I didn't.
Yeah, you did it.
I never got paid.
There you go.
Well, that means you must not have done it then.
Well, I guess we better sue someone. Right.
Coca-Cola. We're going to sue Coca-Cola today.
Now,
How dare they?
To the heart of the question, what about a box set with some B-sides and whether there is or is not a Coca-Cola?
Well, you know what? Unfortunately, Yes had a great box set out that came out in the 90s, and it was at a particularly bad period of time because at Atco Records, where we had ended up after being on Atlantic, then became East West, which basically became a rap label, and and our box set came out right as that happened on the Atco stroke East West sort of label, and it kind of got lost in the shuffle. So if you haven't bought that, there's a lot of interesting gems of old stuff on there, and stuff that had never been heard before. So maybe you should get that.
There you go, Ken.
He's got it already, Chris. That's why he wants Volume 2.
Oh, he does. Right, and then I'm just rambling on. I'm sorry.
We're going to move on and talk with Scott in Los Angeles. Welcome to Rockline, Scott.
Hi. I had a question for John. Can you hear me okay?
Sure.
Yeah. I just wondered if, I've been enjoying the spiritual content of your music for so many years, and I wondered if you might enlighten us a little bit about your spiritual background, or, any. I know it's very personal, but, I would really like to know more.
Well, just working with music and working through music and being able to, over the years, study many different kinds of religions, realizing that all religions are the same, and there's only one God, and it's within the self, within the person, and he has to find his own way of expressing that. And I think we're very lucky within the framework of Yes. The idea of Yes being a positive band, a positive statement in lyric. I've always tried to work the idea of spirituality into the music, knowing that I'm learning about spirituality every day, and the hope that maybe other people will understand a similar feeling at the same time. So we all have a very strong spiritual path, and I think it's up to the individual to find their own way.
Very succinctly put for what could have been a very difficult answer. Scott, thank you very much. We head to Nashville to speak with Brian. Brian, you're on Rockline with Yes.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
I have two quick questions. The question was, on the song Love Will Find a Way, was that originally written for Stevie Nicks? Is that true? And question for Alan White, originally worked with John Lennon on the Plastic Ono Band. How did that project come about?
Well, let me answer the second first, okay? Actually, I was working with my own band in London, to cut it short here, and he called me up. He saw me in a club playing with my own band, and then he asked me to go to Toronto, Peace in Toronto, and then eventually ended up becoming friends, and I started playing on music with him when we got back, and we had a relationship that was great, wonderful person, and ended up making Imagine and all those kind of albums, and it was a great experience.
While we're on the
rewarding.
While we're on the Beatle topic, was the album the latter name for the Yoko Ono project many years ago?
I think that was relative to it, where they claimed the ladder, and you saw the Yes on the top of the ceiling, at the top of the ladder, but it was related to it, but there was other things involved too.
And for Love Will Find a Way, which I believe was one of Trevor Rabin's songs, was that written for Stevie Nicks?
Yeah.
It was, really?
Yeah. No, he was pitching it to her.
He was pitching it to her.
She didn't want it. So we did it instead.
Well, I've always enjoyed the song, but never understood the line, I eat it chez nous. I never really quite got that one.
Let me tell you, John, let me tell you, that's a bad thing to bring up, because John always gave me so much,
so much grief.
Grief over that.
There we go.
But you remember it, though, don't you?
Yeah, of course I remember it, yeah, and I love the song, too. We have more Yes music, more of your questions coming up, and more fun with the band here on Rockline. Your number toll-free, 1-800-344-ROCK. It's Rockline.
Daddy, wake up!
Oh, it's 4:30 in the morning.
Happy Father's Day.
Ford, we're making a difference one customer at a time.
It's Rockline on 102.9 WMGK, Philadelphia's classic hit station. Hey, welcome back to Rockline. I'm Bob Coburn with Yes. Next week, it's a special encore Rockline with Mick Jagger. And we're going to take a call right now from Saunderstone, Rhode Island. Listening on the internet is Karen. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Bob. Robin. Hello. Yes. I have two questions.
Karen.
How you doing? I have two questions here. First of all, how accurate is the book Close to the Edge, The Story of Yes, written by Chris Welch? And my other question is, do you still have contact with former Yes members? And if so, what's everyone doing now?
Well, the book, for me, this is John. I think the book's very good. Chris Welch was one of the first guys who understood what we were trying to do in the early 70s. And everybody else has read it. Have you read it, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, Chris was a buddy of ours. Really used to hang around with the band. And, you know, he has his own opinions, I guess, of certain parts of our career. But I haven't read the whole thing. But, you know, he's a good bloke. He's a good bloke.
And do you stay in contact with the other members of Yes, of which there have been a few?
Every now and again, you know, somebody gets in touch. We heard from Rick the other day. So things happen. You know, this is Steve, by the way. And, you know, sometimes we run into each other. Sometimes we stay in touch with each other when they leave. It's a very varied sort of situation. And, you know, it's everybody's choice to make their friendship either last or goodbye.
That's a good way to put it, and I understand that Billy Sherwood has decided to depart the band, and I understand it was amicable. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, it was just that time where we were moving into longer form pieces of music thinking, and he had a lot of production he wanted to do, a lot of ideas he wanted to fulfill on his own, and it was just the right time for both parties.
He gave me... Go ahead, Chris.
Go on. I was going to say, I'm still working with Billy on our side project, the Conspiracy Project, too, which we're halfway through our second album on that. So we'll be finishing that up probably by the end of the year. And so, you know, he hasn't gone that far away from the fold, but, you know, it's just come to that point where we decided to do, you know, these more classical pieces. And he was a bit really surplus to requirement, really, for this particular set. So we had an amicable departure.
Karen, thanks for the call. We'll play one of the all-time great songs, not only by Yes, but in the history of rock and roll. This is Roundabout on Rockline. Dun, dun, dun. Roundabout by Yes on Rockline. I'm Bob Coburn. We have Alan and Chris and Igor, or Igor as the case may be, Steve and John with us this evening, and we welcome Tim to the show from the Dallas area. Hi, Tim.
Hey, guys. What an honor it is to speak to my favorite and the hardest working rock and roll band in the world. My question is, I don't know who to direct it to, but on the song That Is off of Keys to Accession, one of the studio tracks, what was the inspiration for that song?
That is.
That is, yeah.
Well, the first part was all about the idea that drive-by shootings are becoming very, unfortunately, very daily routine things, and we don't look after children the way we should do. We're not really covering the children and looking after them. And that was the initial push for the project on that song from me as a sort of a lyricist.
And thanks for making a statement about that. And unfortunately, that still continues into the year 2000, and probably will be with us for some time. Tim, thanks. We're going to head to Los Angeles to talk with Kim.
Yes, you're my favorite. You have been for over 30 years. I'd like to know if you're really going to stop touring in 2002.
Well, we've never said that. I mean, there's so many rumors about, and the internet kind of encourages that, but that's not true. I mean, we've never said that.
Now, Kim, did you get that from the internet? Is that your source?
No, I actually heard you say something about it 2 concerts in a row.
You know what you heard probably is John was saying in '97 that we were going to do like a 5-year run, which kind of ends in 2002. But that was just so we wanted to do a 5-year intense working period. But I doubt whether that will be the end of the whole thing then. But unless we're totally worn out. But so. No, I don't think that's going to
We'll have to wait and see what happens.
But we're not totally worn out. We're rehearsing, and everything's vibrant, and everything's sounding great.
And we're in Reno, which is one of America's
and walking
greatest
around,
little cities.
and walking around Reno Hilton here, looking at dying people.
People save their whole lives and blow it in a week in that state. It's unbelievable.
I know. It's quite a trip here, Bob.
You know, Kim, one thing I've learned about being friends with Yes over the years, they love to have a great time, and they love to play. They love to play live, so don't put any data in there, okay? Let's move to Kansas City to talk with Tim. Hi, Tim.
Hey. Hey, guys.
Kansas City.
Name of our supporting band.
Kansas.
That's right. Kansas opening act on the tour coming up.
Turn Alan down a bit.
This is just like cranking up.
So let's hit the question. How you doing?
How you doing?
Pretty good, guys. Listen, was just wondering, I know you don't want to give away anything, but we were kind of wondering what we might be able to expect on the upcoming tour in terms of, like, songs.
What would you like?
Gates of Delirium, Ritual, Close to the Edge, Masterworks. Large-scale pieces of music.
Will things vary?
Will things songs yet to be announced?
And some light relief towards the end of the show, probably.
little Johnny be good to close things out. Yeah.
Exactly.
Will the set vary from night to night? Do you plan on playing different things?
I don't think so, but they're all taxing pieces of music, and we're attacking it right now, but everything's starting to sound really good.
I was going to say, this is an ambitious undertaking, to say the least, to play some of these songs. Tim, thanks for the call. We're going to play a song right now, Long Distance Runaround by Yes on Rockline. Distance Runaround by Yes on Rockline. I'm Bob Coburn, and it's now time for Rockline Remembers. We'll be back in just a moment. But first, can you remember what year these events occurred? Keith Richards busted for possession of cocaine. Which time Fleetwood Mac's Peter Green was committed to a mental health asylum after threatening his accountant with a rifle. That's a bad day. And this Fleetwood Mac song was storming up the charts. You can go your own way. Was it 1975, 1976, or 1977? The answer and more with Yes next on Rockline.
It's dedicated to filling your car with thunderous bass. It's JBL's Power Valve Subwoofer Amp Series. But can just any sub handle Power Valve's massive power?
Hey, you were born. Finish what was started.
Welcome back to Rockline. Time for Rockline Remembers. We'll give you the answer here. What year did these events occur? Keith Richards busted for possession of cocaine. Peter Green institutionalized, and Fleetwood Mac's Go Your Own Way was a huge hit. Was it 1975, 1976, or 1977? Anyone in Yes venture a guess as to the answer for that?
1982.
1982. Thank you, John. Yes.
Thank you.
We've been guessing 75.
75? It's 77. 1977 is the correct answer for that. Let's talk to Tim in the San Francisco area. Welcome to Rockline, Tim. Here's Yes for you.
Hey, I knew that.
Hey, Tim.
All
Hello,
right,
guys.
Tim. Yeah.
Hey, just wanted to, it's great to talk to you. I've seen you every year, well, just about since 76 anyway. I was curious, are you ever going to release any of the video footage that I'm sure you guys got tucked away somewhere, maybe in one of Steve's closets from the late 70s?
Well, it's not in my closet, but we kept thinking that there would be a lot of film, Steve, but there's not actually a great deal that we've actually got in our possession. But there are a few clips. One day they might get put together with some sort of thing. That's really what happened a bit on Yes Years. You know, they put together bits of Yes songs and other things. But the DVDs are coming out, you know, quite a lot, so there's different DVDs. But whether or not we get back to the old stuff, if there's any old stuff that hasn't been shown. So it's not too hopeful that there'll be an enormous, you know...
There was a major film project done when we did the Philadelphia concert in 1976. But I never knew what happened to it.
It went to Canada, I think.
Yeah, some...
Blame Canada.
Blame Canada.
Blame Canada, yeah.
Blame Canada.
I think we should do a new adventure movie altogether. You know, we'd make a complete
like
new
the Monkeys.
Hey, we're Yes.
Exactly.
Let's play a song right now. Something from the Ladder for us. This is Lightning Strikes by Yes on Rockline. Embellishment at the end of Lightning Strikes by Yes for you. We have the entire band with us tonight. I'm Bob Coburn. Your number's toll-free, 1-800-344-ROCK. And if you log on at rocklineradio.com, you can see the studio and me. The band is in Reno, so we do not have an internet camera there. We do have Mark on the line in Columbus, Georgia, however. Welcome to Rockline, Mark.
Hey, how you doing?
We're good, we're good.
Hey, Yes. Chris,
Hey.
I have a question for you. Me being a bass player of over 30 years, I have followed you and a couple of other bass players. And one of my major influences was Geddy Lee. I have only heard him mention one person as being an influence to him, and that was you. Do you know him? Were you aware of the fact that he had mentioned you as an influence? Because I believe it was on Rockline that he mentioned you, that when they did Hemispheres, that he was paying a lot of attention to some of the time signatures and different things that they were experimenting with that you were doing on Tales of Topographic Oceans. And if you do know him, is there ever a chance of you doing a project with him?
That is true, Mr. Squire. He did mention you on Rockline, yes.
Yeah, I met him once, actually with a view to actually producing a Rush album. but I was too busy at the time, so I didn't do it. But yeah, that's he's quite an amazing guy in that he's obviously been very much influenced by me, and also the fact that he tries to sing like John as well. So he's kind of like, you know, like he's a one little Yes kind of guy. Two guys in one. He is really.
And as a little side note for those Rush fans, word is that they are getting back together even after the tragedies that Neil Peart, the drummer, experienced, that they are going to try and give it a go again. So that's good news. Mark, good luck with your playing. Thanks for being on. We're going to talk to a gentleman named John right now, listening on the internet in Chicago. Welcome.
Wow, I'm talking to Yes. This is really cool. Hi. I'll get straight to the point here. Have you guys... Oh, I'm here. Well, cool. Hey,
don't let him throw you off track, John.
Have you found it particularly difficult to come back to songs that you probably haven't played in several years, or in some cases never played at all? I mean, has it been like just riding a bicycle? Is it just something you never forget, or has it been like reinventing the wheel? Has it just been like, oh, how did I ever play this? Oh.
It's not reinventing the wheel, that's for sure.
We've had to learn. We've had to relearn them. You know, we've had to do some homework and we've had to practice. So I mean, it's not as easy as falling off a wall, no, or riding a bike, no. It's a bit harder than that.
Yeah, it's quite when we first talked about doing these songs, especially, and I was saying to John and Steve and Alan and Igor, we should maybe try Gates of Delirium. And then after I said that, I went and listened to it. I thought, my God, what have I just said? Because it was like, you know, got to relearn this stuff. But you know, actually, once we got in the rehearsal room, the little grey cells they come back, and you remember what you did, and you know.
The ones that are left?
Maybe you'll remember the harmonies too.
No, it's actually it's all right. It's all kind of folding together and starting to piece itself together, because some of it's like riding a bicycle, but some parts are really difficult for the reaction within the band. But
drumming's like riding a bicycle, isn't it?
We're now dissing the birthday boy, Alan White.
I tell you what, I'll do your job, you do mine.
There we go. Tit for tat, so to speak. Yeah. That's one of the beauties of the music of Yes. It is intricate and delicate and takes some time to learn, I would imagine. And one of the cool things, the fans got to vote at yesworld.com on what they wanted to hear, and the band listened. So that's very cool. John, thanks for being on the program tonight. More rock and roll by Yes. One of the all-time greats again here. I've seen all good people on Rockline.
I've seen all good people. I've seen all good people turn their heads each day, so satisfied I'm on my way. I see all good people turn their heads each day, so satisfied I'm on my way.
From the Yes album, the third release by the band, Yes, I've seen all good people. A reminder, everyone who gets on the air tonight gets a copy of The Ladder by Yes, their latest, courtesy of Beyond Records. More coming up with the band, and your calls toll free at 1-800-344-ROCK. It's Rockline.
I did queries on Systems Analyst, and I got 3,500.
Steve.
Welcome back. It's an evening with Yes. If it weren't an evening with Yes, why would it sound like this? John,
Astro, can we have a little vote?
John, do the voice. Do the voice you're doing in the break there.
You're listening to CNN.
Yes, John Anderson, as you've never heard him before, ladies and gentlemen. We got Chris. He is in Myrtle Beach, and we welcome him to Rockline. Hi, Chris.
Hi there. How you doing? I'd like to ask a specific question.
Okay.
Yes,
Go ahead.
Those are the best kind.
About Gates of Delirium, the song title track. It was on the Relayer album, and then I purchased Yes shows, and it was in the concert track. Was that song written about any lost girlfriend, or what was the meaning of that song? It was a very excellent song. Excellent, man. I loved it.
It was more about the idea how war is a very bad thing, but we are built to sort of
down boy.
Human beings are so warlike, you know, and it was It was that time.
Come on, John, you wrote it because you lost your girlfriend, man.
Igor Speaks.
Is that
soon.
Is that Igor misbehaving in the background there?
Igor is speaking at last. He just had a beer and he's gone.
Oh, okay.
He's a one beer man.
You know,
call up now.
The Russians can't hold their alcohol, that's for sure.
Can you say something in Russian, please?
What would you like me to say?
I don't know. Say Bob is a wonderful guy.
Bob's очень замечательный человек.
Oh, okay. Then.
I beg your pardon. I'll play that for my attorney tomorrow. I want you to know.
How do you say "get to delirium" in Russian?
I don't know.
Yeah, oh boy.
See, he doesn't know.
Maybe he's not Russian at all.
No, I still don't understand what delirium means.
You are delirium.
Oh my! All right, Chris. Thanks for being on. We turn to Tim in Dallas, Texas, and we welcome Tim to Rockline with Yes. Hi.
Hi, yes, it's a pleasure. Thank you for taking my call. I have a question for Chris. And
yeah.
I'd heard years ago that you used to use piano strings on your bass.
No, that's not true. I pretty much always use rotor sound round wound strings, but there were rumors that I used piano strings, and there was also a rumor that I used to play with a quarter too. But we didn't used to have those in England, so that's definitely not true.
But he uses bass strings on his piano.
Yeah, that's
right. There you go. Would there be any advantage at all to using piano strings in a bass?
No, it's one of those rumors that started because of, the piano-like sound that I achieved with my Rickenbacker.
Ah, there we go. So elegantly stated by Mr. Squire.
Plus the piano's way longer than the bass.
There we go.
Very hard to throw over the shoulder.
Yeah, try playing one of those.
But if you break a string, you just slide it on down and move it into the next position there. All right, Tim, thanks for being on. We're going to play another song by Yes, and one of my favorites. I always love this song. This is Starship Trooper for you on Rockline. And welcome back to Rockline. Time for the...
Who's that guy with Gigi?
Oh, guys, we're back on the air again now. So watch what you say here, okay?
Sorry, Gigi.
You're in trouble.
One final question from me. Where do you think progressive rock stands in the year 2000? Is it alive and well, or is it a lost art form?
Actually, I just heard the other day there's a progressive rock station opening up in L.A. and New York and Chicago in the next month. 2 months from now, there'll be progressive music played on many stations throughout the world. And with the advent of, is it broadband on...
Steve told me I must put that on.
I can't wait to hear that. Let's take a call from...
you had Chandler with something else next to it.
We have Phil on the line, and first of all, let's find out.
I always use it, but it doesn't sound as easy.
Phil, where are you? Phil, where are you located?
I'm in Indiana.
In Indiana, and what are you? Are you listening on the internet?
Yeah, I am.
Sorry about the Pacers.
Okay, let's let Phil have his turn here, guys. Come on now.
Okay.
My question. Will there ever be a Behind the Music on Yes? And what's your favorite episode of Behind the Music?
I think we are actually doing one, strangely enough. Someone from our management mentioned the other day. I think we're going to do one.
Oh, good.
And I don't know. I like the Motley Crue one, but that was good. All the sex, drugs, and rock and roll. But our one, I don't know. It might be boring. We're just such a clean living.
So boring.
Might be like health farms and health food and things like that.
Now in that program they have.
It's a great show, though.
It is a great show, and they have what's called the POF, which is the price of fame, which is the critical mass moment when it all comes tumbling down for the band that they're doing. Any idea what yours might be?
It'll probably be next month.
Next month. We'll return with Yes in just a moment on Rockline. And welcome back to Rockline. Time for the...
Who's that guy with Gigi?
Oh, guys, we're back on the air again now. So watch what you say here, okay?
Sorry, Gigi.
You're in trouble.
One final question from me. Where do you think progressive rock stands in the year 2000? Is it alive and well, or is it a lost art form?
Actually, I just heard the other day there's a progressive rock station opening up in L.A. and New York and Chicago in the next month. 2 months from now, there'll be progressive music played on many stations throughout the world. And with the advent of, is it broadband on...
I don't know. I know Lee Abrams has got a satellite radio that's coming very soon. I think it's called X Radio. So you know about that, Bob?
Yeah, there are quite a few radio stations going up on the net right now.
It's going to be a satellite thing, and it's going to be nationwide, and I think they're going to have quite a few progressive rock channels on that. So, you know.
We're actually doing our own radio this summer.
Oh, we are, yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Broadband, we're doing a broadband thing on the internet.
Fantastic.
Yes TV.
Let me thank everybody for listening and for calling. I also want to thank Mike Weaver at KOZZ and KDOT in Reno, Nevada, Gino Iorillo, Jeff Varner, and John Toomey with Left Bank Management. Thanks to John and Steve and Igor and Chris and Alan from Yes. Thanks for being on. Look forward to seeing you in concert again. Always nice to talk to you guys. Thanks for being on.
Goodbye to everybody.
Lots
of love.
I'm BC, and I'll be seeing you.